After my previous video, you guys, my viewers, showed unanimous support in favor of me documenting with video the progress we make on our new property. Everything I said in the previous video was not a joke. The entire septic system is condemned, the well is not working, the mobile home has to go, and this garage is the only standing structure we're keeping here. So you guys might not recognize this hillside. This is where that big propane tank was sitting, and we cleared all those trees on the first day. These stumps were pulled out of that hillside. I tried burning them. They were too green and saturated. They didn't burn very well, so I have a pile of stumps there now. My leach field test holes have to be like halfway up this hill. So I'm gonna try to use the backhoe. No! My wife really liked that tree. Sorry, babe.
I'm very cold.
You're cold? It's because it's raining. Go back in the house then. It's warmer in there because there's no wind in the garage. Well, it's pouring rain, and I have a headache because our 2-year-old was up all night puking. So I'm gonna call it a day. Okay, stop. We're in the middle of March, and my wife does her gardening from seeds, and so she's gonna wanna be doing that soon. And if I move this down to the bottom of the property where it's flat and sunny, she can begin doing that out of the way and get started on our garden and not have to wait for me to get everything else done. This greenhouse was sitting in the shade, so it wasn't really gonna be much use to us up there, so we're just moving it down the hill. Whoops. Okay, back up. And a little more, and down. Well, 6 by 12 when we patch the roof. And I might try to find a way to sort of like seal in the bottom for heat, although we don't really have any more major cold this season. Hi.
Hello.
You have a greenhouse.
Yeah.
So what's your plan then?
To grow food.
Well, because you were going to do shelves on one side and pots
Yeah.
on the other, but that's when it was up there in the shade.
I think I will still do that just so that I can have both, because I've never had a greenhouse, so I was researching a bunch of stuff, and I'll probably end up changing it next year. But for the first year, Jason has some of his dad has some of like the tarp type stuff I'm going to put over it.
Like the transparent plastic.
The clear plastic.
We're going to throw over the roof.
I think I'm going to put a table on this side and then pots on this side, and then I'm going to have like a watering dispenser type thing, because that's a couple videos I saw had that kind of thing.
You talked about wanting a space to garden out here.
Yeah.
But the deer are going to eat it.
Yeah.
So I think we can put the wire on this fence, and then maybe even just give you a square right here.
Yeah.
Or even this way. Like if we can just get like a post here and a post there and just do a little like 20 by 20 square.
Yeah, that's still
to
bigger
keep
than
the
what I
deer
had
out.
at home. I hate putting things together.
Yeah.
I just got unmotivated in like 2 seconds.
So we realized that every time we're out here with our kids, after they've helped for a little bit, they're bored and dirty and they want something else to do. So
I sold all their toys and bought them a trampoline.
Yeah. Our oldest is about to turn 4, and this is her birthday gift, is a trampoline. And so we're doing a little bit of everything this week.
I don't know about this. Ah!
I read the instructions and I ignored some of them. This gate was supposed to be in line with a post. And I was like, that's not important, who cares? Well, now the net is not in line.
Just watch the last one not go in the right hole.
Over the last week and a half since we closed on the property, I've logged about 40 hours working here, but Thursday, my whole family caught the flu. But we did get a lot of work done, and today I brought my trusty whiteboard to illustrate some of the ideas we have for this place. This is our 1 acre lot. It is a quadrilateral. Get out of here. My wife is in the car laughing at me. This is the main road. This is the paved road that leads up to the dumping mobile home that has to go. This is our garage here, and this dirt driveway does a big S curve and then follows the back side of the property line. The mobile home has to go. We are currently removing the mobile home. The garage, which has its own separate driveway, is possibly going to be a tiny home. We haven't decided yet. It's at the very least going to be a living space. We're going to insulate and sheetrock, put a futon in here, maybe a gray water sink, a fridge, and our air fryer. And this is going to be like our main living room, essentially. We're going to park our travel trailer, which is actually my wife's parents' travel trailer, right here next to the garage so that we can access it from this side, and this is home base, okay? This is really our only living plans at the moment. The septic system previously went from the mobile home into the septic tank and then down the field into this pasture down at the bottom. It took up like half the pasture down there. The inspector told us that it would likely not work. He said that we could do a water test to see if it took any water, and it did not at all. It immediately pumped back out through the top of the pipe when we pumped water into it. So the leach field is completely condemned. The tank, the inspector told me what I could already see. It's cracked open and broken. None of the fittings really work. The previous homeowner years ago looks like they tried to fix it unsuccessfully. So the septic tank has to go. Short term, that sucks because that's a lot of money up front. But long term, it might be to our benefit because this, where the leach field was, we want to be our garden space. And we can't really functionally garden well on top of a leach field, at least in my research. So the leach field, I have been told, can go beside the garage, down the hill a little bit, and sort of zigzag through the trees below the garage here, which is where I was removing all of those stumps from. I spent Wednesday and some of Thursday digging 4.5 foot deep holes for the DEQ to come inspect to see what type of septic system we can put in. Those holes are right here. I don't know where the septic tank is going to go yet. Hopefully it can go below the elevation of the garage so that we can put a bathroom on this and make this an actual tiny home. But my suspicion is that the septic tank will have to go above the elevation of the garage, somewhere up here, in which case we would have to pump septic from the garage to the tank, and that's a hassle. So I'm not exactly sure if we'll do that or not. This is our main issue right now, is finding a place to poop. We need a septic system. So aside from this, we're trying to get the well fixed. So the well, before we closed, had no water. We put power to the pump, nothing happened, but I reached the extent of my knowledge. We have since had somebody come inspect the well. They re-hooked it up to some other wire system, and it works. So we do actually have a pump in the ground that works and pumps water, which saves me a huge amount of cost. of having to pull and replace a pump in the ground. The only thing we have to do for the well is get the electrical redone because the electrical was short circuiting. Once that is done, they can hook up the pump and we can purify the pump and the reservoir and we'll be good to go. So the water, though it's not done yet, is looking good. Big picture plans. If we're here for a decade and we're happily living up here and we can dream bigger than that, we would like to put in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on this hillside with one of those like half basements that sort of is like in the hillside but has like a big row of windows in the front that opens up into the countryside because we live on this hill, right? Can you picture that? So long term, it'd be cool to have like a downstairs basement, a middle story living space with a bedroom, and then a master bedroom upstairs on like a 3rd story window with that view. This is the plan, but it's not immediate. That is something we're pushing down the road and not really thinking about right now because we don't have the money for that. So at the moment, most of this is hypothetical. We'll see how it turns out, but we are working on it and we're committed to this. Maybe the whiteboard doesn't help you a whole lot, so just picture this with me for a second. If this driveway leads up to a parking pad with our house and the trees right there, we could have all this space for gardening and 2 big greenhouses side by side here. Our leach field is in the hill over there, so this whole tree line can be filled with fruit trees and blueberries. There's that giant oak tree with the tire swing in it. The garage, long term, if we're living up there, can just be an accessory dwelling unit. It has its own driveway, and everything in between is just trails and water features and park benches with a big hammock. I'm super stoked you guys are here to watch this. Thank you for commenting and giving me your support. If you want to help me financially, you can click the join button to become a channel member or buy my merchandise on my website. Either way, thank you for watching my videos and stay tuned. We got a lot of work ahead of us.